Welcome everyone, my name is Emerson, I work at the International Relations Department, and today we're presenting the event UNIS International Conference. First, I would like to thank Meisei University in Japan to always be so kind with this partnership with Group UNIS and for all partners that have shared this event on their academic environment. Today we have here our guest speaker, Professor Takanori Kawamata. He's an associate professor at Meisei University in Japan. His research interests are related on applied linguistics and discourse analysis. The presentation is on the topic Attending Discursive Computing, a Destination Market Project within a COIL programming. Professor Takanori Kawamata, the screen is all yours.
Thank you very much, Emerson. Thank you very much for coming of the invite us this presentations. So today I would like to sharing with you the program of Meisei University in Tokyo. Last year we have done the destination marketing projects of collaborative online international learning program. So the Taketomi is also one of our researcher, and today, unfortunately, he has an urgent issue. So I would like to have present by myself. Okay. So as I think the same situation in Brazil, the last year, 2020, has new attempts for all teachers and students. Because all courses taught in and online, everything's going to be turned into the online. And also many of the students, let's say most of the students cannot access the Meisei campus. So we have to only encountering the online. They cannot access, we cannot allow to face-to-face interactions. And of course, unfortunately, there is no mobility program and the field work. So most of the students and also teachers thinking about, okay, so how do we challenge of these situations to discovering new learning? And so last year we have a branding project named Futo-Blue project. This is asked by a request by the local NPO in Ito City, Shizuoka, Egao no Kizuna. So Egao no Kizuna is the Ito City is located here, and Tokyo is around here. So it's approximately 200 kilometers from Tokyo. So very small, but still very much the greenery and natural, the beautiful place. And this NPO is going to have mostly the participants of this NPO is that the retired people, those who have regaining of the meaning of the life, so that they are going to making crops like olive and herbs and many vegetables. So they are going to make, they are using that kind of these crops and to developing the brand. So and then they are the Egao no Kizuna, the local NPO, is asking the Meisei University students to helping develop the branding marketing, especially appealing to the younger generations. So this collaborative branding project includes the multidimensional and multisensory competence to socially interact, a new idea of brand development in Japan, because there are many participants who have different backgrounds. So the students need to understand that how do we collaborate with the people, and also how do we develop our competence, especially for the multi-sensory the competence. And also, of course, the NPO group is very much wanted to students create something out of box, because these situations we have much more new attempts of these collaborative branding project in online platform. So the branding Futo-Blue of participants is the Meisei University and the International Studies Department, which is my faculty, and was 10 students, and also information science students who is Takuya's departments, also 12 students. And also we collaborate with the Autonomous University of Barcelona in Spain. They're also joining as 4 students. And British Teaching University in Georgia is located in the Republic of Georgia. And they're also joining this the destination marketing project. So we have a variety of participants and of course the variety of language, so that we are going to work in online platform and also using English to interact, and going to have a branding project we have done in last year. So as you have already understand that there are so many constraints, I have the exemplify of here. So first things is no face-to-face interactions. So students and the faculty member. So if students have some questions, it is sometimes in the face-to-face situation, it's easy to ask the teacher, but there is no that kind of interactions. And also the university campus have a very much resources to doing a programming and also the marketing papers or research papers, but they also kind of, they cannot access at that moment, and also intervene the teachers to creating the applications. And of course, the time zone is also another constraint. So if we have discussions through the online platform, but right now, the Tokyo is 10 p.m. and you are now the morning. So it's kind of time zone is also another constraint to work with internationally, even in a collaborative project. So how do we frame or how do we understand of these new attempts? The first things is that the trans-border practice. So this is a great opportunity for all of us have a trans-border practice. So we have several borders, like online and offline. Online is the one of the the border for us, and also discipline. I myself as a humanities department, and Takuya is he's from information science, and several so different backgrounds. We have a different background, so that's kind of also the border. But still, students, I mean me myself, that all participants have to trans-bordering the practices. We have to go over the borders to create something new. So that is not kind of one person, strong characters or the great knowledge will be able to do that. Everybody can do that by understanding of socially construct the meaning, and also the situated learning. This is the learning itself, very much situated. So learning is embedded among the people. So that's they also digging inside of a situation. How do we learn, or how do we attempt of to gaining some new knowledge? And that also leads to create a community of practice, as Wenger and Lev and Wenger are saying that. So this is one framework of this research. And yeah, the past research of human interface and computing science. I think you can also will be imagine that the application development is a work alone. So one programmer working alone in front of the computers and creating applications. So that is only the application is an output, as the same as the human interface, the past research of human interface. They have only the view of engineering part. So a kind of man-machine interface, kind of monologue of the machine and man. So that is a kind of limitation, but still our data, later on I'm going to share with you, but our data is going to show more fertile interactions to input the application development. So once we are in terms of a humanities way of understanding, so many people are gathered then it creates the culture, because we have a different culture. Culture indicates not only a national culture, but also kind of the background of academic background, let's say. But Mats Arvesen has already argued is that the culture is not inside the single people's head. So culture is in between the groups of people, and the meaning are publicly expressed. So that means the interactions of information science students in international studies department, Spain's students and Georgian students, that kind of interactions represents as expressed as a meaning of the culture, one of our culture. So it's going to have the culture is a very important asset to understanding this phenomena. So it's not the thing, I mean, the people's head. The culture is not people's head. So the Arvesen is also the great metaphor, using a great metaphor as umbrella. So umbrella, under the umbrella, we are kind of understanding the way of thinking. So we can share the umbrella, under the umbrella of the culture, or let's say, the culture, and also the discourse. Later on, I'm going to arguing, but the under the umbrella of understanding the way of thinking or way of behaving as well. So these culture needs to understand of these the collaborative understanding, because interculture is interculture, but the interculture is also one kind of monologue way of looking at. So it's more like more, let's say, more transborder. In terms of a transborder, we have no culture like a Spain culture, Japanese culture. So we are going to get rid of that kind of aspect in order to understand individual person or team member or community of practice participants. So that's why we are using a discursive approach. I think this is the kind of, let's say, the transbordering approach. Then we need to understand the discursive approaches as well. So these application is also the representations of a discourse. It's go beyond the one-to-one relationship and between language and cognitive affective meaning. So I would like to have the data later on and to more in detail, or the framing of these approaches, and to looking at the programming data. So the promotion, so we have forming 3 different the teams. So due to the limitation of time today, I would like to focusing on the web app team. They are making a web-based application in order to have a branding more appealing for the product in the web-based applications. So data are collected in the April to December. We have a once a week an official meeting as a course work, and twice or 3 times group Zoom meeting is at outside of classroom. So students and participants have contacted each other, and then they have availability. They find out the availability, then they are meeting outside of the classroom. Okay, so this is the very first pilot program, very first making the web-based application. So web team going to make the application. So looking at this app like here, so they are making a Pinchos of the Pinchos game of using of their crops or their harvests, and to make because they're very much familiar with the nature itself, and weather is very much similar to Spain and Italy, so Southern Europe. So that's why it's going to have a trigger of that. Then they are going to make this kind of web-based applications. Sorry, yes. So yeah, so this is a kind of programming data. You see that this is the outlook of that, and the very much beginning, they are more focusing on the functions. How does it work itself? So that's very simple, and they only use a Google map here, and just putting an image on that maps. So they just, the students, information science students, focusing on the how it works, how it functions in a web page. In July, the very beginning. So after the interactions, they have so many fertile the information is here. So not only the map image, but also they have within the text, and once the slides, then they can see the text on what is happened, and also what is it, and also the text says that Southern Europe like weather, and we are growing the olive. That is the phrases when the pins going to move. So this kind of language, you see that you can see the pilot to here. So July to December, only 3 months, 3 or 4 months. I'm sorry, the 4 months interactions. They have more rich informations here rather than only a function based. How the pins move around. So the interactions through a different platform. We are using the first things is a Slack, and also this is the kind of timetable they have. I hope you can understand the Kanban system in Toyota. So once you are going to move each items or each tasks, then this is a complete. So they are going to move, sharing also this kind of scheduling in this online platform, applications form. So first things, of course, the programming, the students have lacking of the knowledge about the programming. So in the Slack, they also have the interactions between the teachers. So the Masa's data I translated here. Masa is also asking help to the faculty member and also instructors that how do they doing the source code. And the Takuya and the other professors also have the showing that the errors and also the servers, how do they making the things. So they are not firstly to instruct, okay, you can do this, you can do that. It is not their approach. They firstly, the Masa is trying and some kind of errors, and then they can ask. So this kind of scaffolding atmosphere is also emerged. And that kind of interaction is not only teachers, students, but also students are going to have interactions. So after that, they have a form of first program web app, and then Moe, she's information science students, and Moe is also have reporting each other how much they can proceed of this. So then also she asked to the Joreen who have the information, the Spain students, to asking about more details of pinchos. And then the Yui is also replying of that how much the ingredients and also how it costs of this. So then they can have more included the Pinterest feedback, and then they input. How do they input that idea into a programming language? And also their discussion is go through, and then they also have a time management. So they have meeting each other of by using the app, the Slack itself. So the findings is we have two different findings. The one things is a conceptual and the theoretical findings, and also learning through COIL project. as you see there, the programming language as a manifestation of discourse. So discourse is a taking for granted ways of behaving, interacting. So this is, as we have said, the culture. But culture is more kind of a large concept, let's say umbrella part of that. But discourse is a more have a language based. So the programming language is not like a vacuum or someone's idea. It's not input-output things. It is emerged from a student's relationship, or they emerged from students' interactions. They have the programming language is like that. So that means programming is not a solo activity or a solitary activity. They have the language manifestation of discourse is going to the programming itself as a manifestation or representations of their relationship. And yes, once again, the learning through the COIL project, they have engaged in a transborder practice once again, and they have learned so many things. So the socially construct, how do they approach or how do they time management, these different aspects they have learned. So COIL project, the good things of the COIL project is that the uncertainty of learning. Teachers cannot expect what the students learn and what the teachers learn as well. But once we have doing and creating all the interactions and going to be create a meaning, and on the process of creating meaning, they have learned so many different things. So it is I think the good things of a COIL project, although the concrete goal and concrete task, without that, it is not hard having the learning itself. So this kind of a transborder practicing, I hope you also joining this kind of a transborder practice, and you are going to gain different knowledges which you can't expect beforehand. So I hope you can also join this kind of transborder practice. And I would like to express once again the thanks for the inviting me with this great opportunity. Thank you very much.
Great, Professor Takanori. It was fascinating to understand those concepts, and I found it very interesting when you mentioned about skills related to what the students need to do on a scale. I never thought about it that way, and I'm certain that it was life-changing for me. And I would like to ask you a question. Nowadays, we have seen many cases of success on courses related to entry-level jobs, developing the right skills and the global skills that students need for the global market to work and to really work and make the right jobs to be done. The question is, how can we identify who needs to learn and what skills needs to be taught for this particular group?
Thank you very much. Yes, that's a very much great questions of that, and also that many of my students as well have also taught that who needs. So the first things is a COIL project, especially this kind of a COIL project, is that the students, those who have never experienced with encountering the internationally or intercultural project, because that's once you have experiences, then they come to understand socially constructed meaning or situated learning at the first. So then they are going to move another project, then they have more accumulating, or they can applicable of that kind of knowledge. So these learning, let's say, continuous learning is going to have gaining the knowledge and also the ability of the global competency, because the definitions of global competency is also still unstable. I mean, not fixed itself. So these learning platform of course, some of the teacher also pointed out that, oh, why are you going to teach of this project? Because that the learning, you can't expect it. So why you are going to teach? But again, this is the this situation itself. We can't expect for the future. But still, we are going. Well, the important part is that the students, I mean, for all of us, needs to have some attempts to do this limited, or let's say limited situations. So that's in order to that kind of situations, they are going to engage on this kind of transborder practice and then gaining the competencies, and they are going to have a make meaning for each other. So relationship. So then when you enter the kind of, let's say, global companies or so on, they also doing this short stories or short narratives, what they have learned or what they have done, let's say. Then that is also appealing to the people, those who are working also in the global settings, because the global settings is also unforeseeable. But the thing it is, unforeseen, that is going to be a good attempt. There is kind of transitions of that, the learning to the relation, making a relationship as well. So that is also, I think, the person who have never experienced these things, then they can joining this kind of program. Did I answer to your questions?
Yeah, perfectly. Thank you. Thank you so much. It was really insightful. I think that it's really the difficult part is to identify on the fast change that the global the whole world is passing by, and to teach it in the right timing, because today one skill is needed, and then tomorrow need to be teaching that. So I think that's the most difficult thing to really establish this, and COIL programs are really one of the keys for that, because you can put students from all over the world to study together, to develop skills together. And today you can be living in Brazil, and tomorrow you can be living in Portugal. You can work from Japan to an American company online from your home.
Right.
So I think the world is changing, and definitely project has a global scale. And I really hope for us to develop a project like this together soon. It will be really, really, really amazing. Really amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Great, Professor. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah, for disposing your time. It was really, really interesting and fascinating. And I hope to see you here more times in our next conferences and our next invitations too.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And all right, guys, that's it for today. Don't forget to fill the attendance list to receive your certificate. Also, don't forget to subscribe on our YouTube channel and to follow us on social media. You can find in the link below here. So thank you so much, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.